What is now Children-at-Heart-Ministries had its beginning in 1950 when Lewis and Billy Sue Henna donated 115 acres of land to start the Texas Baptist Children's Home in Round Rock. In those days, the traditional children's home or orphanage model was to have the children living dormitory style in an austere setting that might have been something Charles Dickens envisioned. Our vision was to create family-style cottages where children wouldn't feel institutionalized. They lived with house parents, attended local schools, and became part of an extended family. TBCH was one of the first children's homes in the country to adopt this model, which today is commonplace. Down through the years, as society has changed, we've expanded to meet the changing needs of the families and children we serve. It became clear in the late 1970s that one of the fastest growing segments of the population was the household headed by a single mother. That led us to establish the family care program at TBCH and later at Gracewood in Houston. There are other changes in society that we have responded to in our efforts to meet the needs of children and families. As family dysfunction has become more common, our STARI program has responded with innovative counseling, shelter care, and foster care. Teenagers today face very real issues as they mature, and our Miracle Farm Boys Ranch and SAFE program for runaway teens is a response to those needs. Our mission today remains very close to what it was 6 decades ago, to serve children and strengthen families by ending the cycle of child abuse and family crisis and dysfunction that's too often passed on from generation to generation. Children are at the heart of everything we do, and often you help the child by strengthening the family. That's why we've seen remarkable growth in our counseling, foster care, and family care programs. Our priority is to keep the family together. Sometimes that means working to help single mothers and their children, or offering counseling to help dysfunctional families thrive, or giving a child a forever family through adoption. We can't measure our objectives strictly by numbers, although the numbers of children and families we serve are growing everywhere. Behind the numbers are the faces of children who not only have happier lives today, but have also found hope and opportunity for the future through the programs we offer. One of the very real keys to our success is the way we leverage our resources to serve the needs of more than 11,000 people every year. We do this by providing individualized services tailored to meet the needs of every child and every family. This is key because each situation presents a unique set of problems that require a customized set of solutions. In our Campus Life program at TBCH, for instance, that means that no more than 8 children live in a cottage under the care of married house parents. That's a large family by most standards today, but it allows the house parents to treat each child in their care as an individual. Similarly, our family care programs at TBCH and Gracewood utilize full-time family life coordinators who live with single moms and their families. They serve as mentors and role models who are there to listen to cares and concerns while establishing deep connections and relationships with each mom and child. So though we serve large numbers, we believe our programs are still small enough to leverage the intimacy of counseling, family care, or cottage life in order to make a significant difference in each life. Children at Heart is effective because of our ability to meet the needs of a changing society is reflected in every corner of our agencies. An organization that has been around for more than 6 decades learns that it needs to adapt to the changes going on around it if it's going to fulfill its mission. For instance, when Texas Baptist Children's Home opened in 1950, its sole purpose was to provide long-term care for children who had to live apart from their parents. But in the 1970s, we were hearing from single mothers that they needed help to keep their households together. That led to the start of family care in Round Rock and Gracewood in Houston. One of the most important components of society is the family unit, but even that has changed drastically in the past 3 decades. In many families, both parents work, and more homes are headed by single parents. Add to that the pressures young people face today, and you find a level of dysfunction and trouble that wasn't around a generation ago. That led us to start new programs like free family counseling and apartment ministries to help families stay together, in effect supporting children while at the same time making families stronger. It has been our ability to meet all of the changing needs in society that has kept Children at Heart an effective organization, one that is making a difference in our communities. It is tempting to measure success strictly by numbers, to say we increase the numbers being served in each program in each ministry on a year-to-year basis. By those standards, we are successful, but that isn't our primary objective. I am reminded of a young man who came into the Miracle Farm program a few years ago, utterly lost and off his path. Sam came from a great, caring family, but he was behind in school, hanging around with the wrong people, and entirely unmotivated. He got to Miracle Farm and he hated it. He was highly allergic to horses, which are a major component of the program. But he says that one day he had an epiphany of sorts and realized that he needed to stop rebelling against people who were trying to help him. With the help of some allergy medicine and the support of family and staff, he completed the Miracle Farm program, graduated from college, and recently passed his test to become a professional engineer. So we can look at all of the numbers we want, but it really comes down to measuring success through young people like Sam and hundreds of others like him. Many people don't realize that our ministries are almost entirely privately funded. Starry receives state and federal grants for some of the programs it offers, but Texas Baptist Children's Home, Miracle Farm, and Gracewood don't receive any government funding. In addition, although we are a ministry to children and families, the funding we receive from churches and church organizations is a very small part of our budget. That means we need to rely on individuals, organizations, and foundations to provide the financial support we need to help children and families. It's also important to note that because of the way we are structured, the cost of business office services and fundraising and most communication activities are entirely carried by Children-at-Heart-Ministries and the Children at Heart Foundation on behalf of the individual programs. That means that every dollar that's raised goes directly to support the programs, not to pay for accounting or direct mail or newsletters or fundraising expenses. Donors appreciate that because they know that the contributions are being used specifically for the purposes they were intended. Our ability to respond to the ever-changing needs in the communities we serve has really been one of our biggest accomplishments. Originally, Children at Heart started with 2 cottages in Round Rock in the 1950s. Today, there are more than 30 buildings on that campus, and we've grown to provide services on the I-35 corridor from Round Rock to Waco and east to Brenham and Houston. Most of that growth has occurred in the past 2 decades as we've adapted our mission and our programs to meet the changing social needs. As extended families and grandparents caring for children have become more common, the need for long-term care for individual children has reduced the need for programs like Campus Life at Texas Baptist Children's Home. At the same time, the growth of households headed by single mothers has grown dramatically, and families everywhere are in crisis. So we are serving more children than ever because our programs for single mothers mean that families stay together, that moms and children don't have to be separated because of economic hardships. Throughout our 60-year history, we've relied on donations from individuals and foundations, not government dollars, to help us meet growing needs. Like other nonprofits everywhere, we've had to work extra hard to raise operating funds, and will always be vulnerable to economic realities in the world around us. But because of the generosity of our donors, we have never been forced to cut services. In fact, we've expanded and are committed to continuing to meet the challenges we face. Part of that is due to the fact that we've always been a debt-free organization, so we don't have to worry about raising money to meet the mortgage. Every dollar goes directly to programs, and we also are blessed by the fact that even when things get tough economically, people don't want to give up on giving to programs that benefit children. Looking to the future, there are many opportunities for growth, and additional funding is a key factor. Two that stand out are the services we provide to single mothers in our family care programs in Round Rock and Houston, and the work that is being done at Miracle Farm, our boys' ranch near Brenham. First, households headed by single mothers are the fastest growing demographic group in the nation, and the greater Houston and Central Texas areas are no exception. Because our programs today are at capacity, if we're going to meet the needs of this population, we're going to have to build more residences so these families can find meaningful help. Second, at Miracle Farm, we've recently started a significant vocational education program to help the boys find careers once they leave us. We're also implementing an apartment living concept for boys who graduate from the program and want to pursue their educations at area colleges, but still need the support that they've enjoyed at the farm. Both the vocational education and apartment living are going to need additional resources in the very near future. As an agency that helps children and families, there's a long list of needs in the communities we serve and gaps we could fill. For example, our STARI program, the only one of our programs that receives government funding, has had to reduce its child abuse prevention programs in local communities because the state no longer funds that directly. There is a great deal more that we can do through community education that can make a quality of life difference for children and families. In another area, we are serving many single mothers and their children, but the work we are doing is barely scratching the surface of the need. There is just so much more that can be done simply by providing more opportunities through additional residences and expanded programs that reach deeper into the communities we serve. Finally, our Miracle Farm program has been very successful in helping teenage boys find a path to adulthood. But there's still a need for aftercare support for many of these young men, particularly those who want to pursue education and job training beyond high school.